everybody, what's going on? It's your girl Simone B back with another video, and today the topic is am I next? So the reason why I chose this topic was because of everything that has been going on with the protesting and the rioting, the looting, all because of the murder of George Floyd. So as I was preparing this video throughout the week, it really dawned on me that I could have just made my own video with like me sharing my own voice. But as I was doing that, I was realizing how powerful it would be to hear from more people. So in the video, you're going to be hearing from more students who are going to Howard with me in the fall, and some spoken word from a student from Clark, Atlanta, and also some few things from a student who will be going to Morehouse in the fall. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you all that this is a very sensitive topic, since it is one that has a big impact on us all. I have some pictures and scenes and some videos of things that's been going around the country, and I also wanted to just make a statement that there are many students here who have their notes out, and that they'll be reading and using their notes to help them as they answer the following questions that will be shown on in the video. Thank you guys for watching. I didn't do my actual intro, but I do ask that you all like, comment, and share, because we really want people to know that the class of 2024 and 2023 is here, and that we really need people to hear us, to listen to us, and that this craziness is also here with us. Since we are basically the next generation, it's very important that our voices are heard, since this fight has been going on for many people, but it's really kind of new for us to actually take action and to actually be at the age to be heard. So make sure you help us out by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing.
There's a light in the darkness, though the night is black as my skin. There's a light burning bright, showing me the way, but I know where I've been. There's a cry in the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I pray the answer's up ahead. Yeah, 'cause I know where I've been.
So I'm gonna start off with the intros, and I'll be the first one. As you all know, my name is Noah Simone. I am a part of the class of 2024. I will be attending Howard University as a human development major from New Jersey.
My name is DARRYL. I am an incoming freshman at Howard University, and this is a message to my brothers and sisters.
Hi, I'm NYLAH. I am from Delaware. I will be entering into the Howard University as an incoming psychology major on a pre-law track.
Hello, I'm JY'MIR. I'm an incoming freshman at Howard University, class of 24. Hello, my name is Alexia Harris. I will be attending Howard University in the fall. I'm a rising freshman psychology major from South Holland, Illinois, by way of Las Vegas.
Hello everyone, my name is DEVONTE King, upcoming freshman political science major from Hinesville, Georgia.
Hi, my name is ZORA. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I will be a freshman for Howard's class of 2024, and I will be a film and TV major.
I am KEON, rising freshman, business and marketing major from South Virginia, and I will be attending Howard University.
My name is WESLYN Harmon, and I'll be a political science major at Howard University in the fall.
This feeling isn't new for Black Americans. Black people living in this country are well aware that one day their beautiful skin tone will be seen as a threat by police officers. This is a daily fear for so many Black people, and when the outrage slips away from our timelines and people stop posting about it and pretending to care, Black people still have to live in fear while others get the privilege of forgetting. It would be remiss of me to not acknowledge that I benefit from a system of privilege as a light-skinned woman that places me in close proximity to whiteness and places me in a position where police are less likely to see me as a threat. I fear not for my own life, but for the life of my dark-skinned stepfather when a white police officer arrived at the scene of my mother's car accident late at night a couple of years ago. It is my duty, as it is with others who have privilege, to amplify the voices of others and do what we can to not speak over the voices of those directly affected. Silence during this time speaks volumes. Having the ability to ignore the current climate is deplorable. I feel numb and helpless. I feel frustrated. I fear for the lives of my family members, my peers, my friends, and the lives of my community members. You do what you can. You sign the petitions, you share the resources, you go out and vote, but there's still a very real fear of putting yourself on those front lines and putting your life in danger. It's so hard to feel like you can make a difference when the odds are stacked against you. We have been fighting for centuries, and we are tired. So don't try to tell us how to handle our anger.
We're tired. We Black people were tired of having to endure so the brutality, the disregarding of humanity, the general hatred that we're forced to feel simply for our existence. And it's what we're seeing now is what happens when you push a people to their brink, and when people are tired to the point where they don't want to endure anymore and they push back, which is why I fully understand and I fully support the protests, and that's what they are. They are protests. You see rioting, you see looting, you see violence, and that's all given to us in an attempt to smear what the protests are truly about. It's the fact that you see the symptoms of what happens when a people are tired because they're tired of being killed, they're tired of being raped, they're tired of not being heard, they're tired of being disrespected, they're tired of being in America. So I fully support the protests, and as a Black man, I've seen consistently and continuously so much Black death and so much Black trauma, especially of other Black men. And the trauma affects me in the sense that I've seen it so much that I've almost built up a callousness to it, in the sense that I see it and I feel for them in the sense that it's wrong and it should not happen, and it's horrible, and I feel for them. But the callousness is where it's like what could we do? What can we do? And seeing the protest, this is what we can do. This is what we are doing, and this is what we will continue to do. And I thank everyone for going out there and helping with the supplies or helping.
If you would have asked me last week, I would never expect my city to be where it is right now. Though I am surprised, I'm very proud. I am proud of the unity that Minneapolis has created, though they continue to be demonized by the media. I am proud of all my peers who have and will continue to make their voices heard, speaking out against the dehumanization of Black bodies. Personally, this recurring issue of police brutality and the crooked justice system that exists in America makes me feel one thing: tired. Tired of being considered half a person by the white people that make the rules that govern my city. Tired of rules being made that criminalize people that look like me in my community. Tired of seeing the same hashtag with a different name at the end, representing the thousands of lives that are ripped away from us just because of the skin we wake up in every day. In response to how I see this affecting me as a Black woman, I read this quote by Malcolm X. The most disrespected woman in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. As a Black woman, I have numerous fears about encounters with the police. One in particular is being forgotten. Often when Black women become victims of hate crimes and police brutality, the stories are just never reported, never heard. Due to my intersection, being a woman who is Black, this sits on my conscience heavily. The same could be said for Black men. But in times like this, it is key to take action. In response to the death of George Floyd and the unrest that exists in my city, many youth activists have taken a stand. Resistance against this destructive justice system is important, and all forms of advocacy should be encouraged and supported.
The reality is that police brutality has been an issue since MLK's days. I mean, he spoke about it during his March on Washington in 1963, and police brutality has continued on since then. It's been a problem consistently for the Black community since as long as we can remember. Rodney King riots in 1992, the shooting of Oscar Grant in 2009, Trayvon in 2012, now George Floyd in 2020, and everybody who was in between those significant periods. Black people are angry because we're tired of asking when state-sanctioned violence against our communities is going to end. We're tired of asking when these institutions like the police will prioritize working class communities instead of a criminal justice system whose sole purpose is to profit based on how many people with brown skin they can stuff into a cell. We're tired of choosing between politicians who blatantly ignore what we have to say about police brutality and politicians that say, oh, we see you and we hear you and we empathize with you, but they don't actually do anything about it. We're tired of existing in a default state of criminality when the act of walking around in a store is suspicious and gets you followed around, and where the act of protesting our own unlawful and extrajudicial executions is considered violent. I'm tired of watching my mom or my grandma break down in tears every time this happens, because the reality is they're scared that their son is going to walk outside one day and he's not going to come back. And they're scared that the person who murders him is going to be propped up and defended by an invincible police union that won't allow us to get justice. We're tired of it. It has to end.
That's how I feel. I'm angry because I don't understand why we have to constantly. The only way we can get an investigation or a trial or some form of an arrest is if our murder is filmed and broadcasted everywhere and then given mass hysteria on social media. It took for the whole city to burn down for there to even be some form of an arrest. It wasn't really an arrest, it was just witness protection, but it's just something for them to be even aware. It took for George's murder to be filmed on video and then given all the attention on social media and for the city to burn down. That's what it took. It shouldn't have to be that we have to have everything on video and then for it to be glorified and seen as trauma porn on social media. In order for any form of investigation to happen, it should be automatically done. Because we all know if Ahmaud Arbery's case and Ahmaud Arbery's murder, modern day lynching, wasn't filmed and put on social media and then spread at a mass amount on social media, Ahmaud Arbery's killers would just be free. Because remember, it took several months for it to even be publicized on social media. Remember, he was killed in February. It took us until now Same thing with George. If his murder was not filmed and then put on social media for everyone to see, this whole thing would not happen. That cop would still have a job. That cop would still be roaming free. Him and his buddies would still be fine. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm tired. I'm drained.
We as a people have become stagnant in our mission for change. As of late, after our brother George Floyd was murdered, we were again reminded that the plague of hate, injustice, and racism is a recurrent issue that must be dealt with. I personally am lucky enough to not have experienced blatant racism, but I am still angry, just as my black brothers and sisters are angry and tired and hurt. I have not personally experienced blatant police brutality, but I am still angry and scared whenever I am in their presence. My people are rioting right now because we are in pain. I share the pain and the suffering of my people, and that is why I stand up. It is our responsibility to stand up and to stay standing. There comes a time where our silence is a betrayal, and I will not turn my back on our fallen brothers and sisters. I will not sit back and watch my people be murdered, and I will not forgive the racist murderers who took the lives of my brothers and sisters, because forgiveness won't bring back George Floyd. It won't bring Sandra Bland back, Trayvon Martin, Tamar Rice, Breonna Taylor. Say that name. Say it loud. We will not sit back and wait for people to change. We won't wait for these white people to change. Instead, we are going to be the change. We are going to return the love back into our black communities to combat the hate that we are met with. We will not look for approval of our actions. We will not wait for the crooked justice system to hand us our respect, because we are going to take it. Remember, in our struggle for peace, to not combat hate with more hate, we have to break the cycle. It takes a lot of action. We have to take action. But to do it, we have to do it for the love of our people. We have to do it with love rather than with hate.
As a black man in America, it doesn't feel good, I can tell you that. But at the same time, it's more of a when is it gonna stop type feeling, or what can I do to change it type feeling, or a hopelessness type feeling. Because when you wake up in the morning and you low-key scared to leave the house, and you scared to trust the people who are sworn to protect and serve, it's more of you feel alone in a sense, especially those who don't have family support like others.
The number one feeling that I get when I keep on seeing the same hashtag with a different name is angry and hurt. And the reason why this is happening is because I remember when Trayvon Martin was killed. I remember when I was just in middle school and I was asking my mom, like, how come a black person can't just live? And granted, I took history classes and like I knew the history and like I knew it, but it didn't, and it still doesn't make sense as to why, just because I have dark skin and that I'm black, that makes me any less of a human than a white person or a white cop. So when I see this, I just get angry and I'm tired, because I'm tired of having to have the same conversations. I'm tired of having to have the same fight. I'm tired of having to say the same thing, as it seems that I have been saying this my whole life. My parents, my grandparents, we've all been having the same fight. I'm tired to feel that I have to be fearful of the people whose jobs are to protect me, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm tired of trying to make sense of it when I know that there is no valid reason.
Honestly, it just feels like during these 4 years, I've grown a lot as a person in high school, but I can go back to middle school and remember Michael Brown being killed and his killer being cleared of charges. And it just seems like America has not grown during these 4 years, and it feels like, if anything, it's got worse. We have to be the generation that ends this. We have to make changes in our community. We have to hold the police officers accountable. If I'm going on the street for a traffic stop, they don't know who I am. They don't know who you are. You have to understand, we have to have solidarity. There is no more, he should have followed the law. He should have done this. He shouldn't have done that. He complied and he was killed. George Floyd was killed for complying with the law. We have to be stronger than this. We have to be united, and we have to end this. And while we're at it, let's talk about organization during these times. I hear a lot of people saying that we're not moving organized, but we have to remember that the FBI, our government, has set a precedent to make sure that we don't organize as a people to move correctly. Think about all the leaders in our community that's been killed because they organized protests. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Fred Hampton, Huey Newton. So don't listen to people when they say we need to organize. We have a goal, and we all know what the goal is, and we're moving towards that goal however we feel. There is no organized, there's no reform. There's either working or you're not. And we are working for the end of racism, the end of police brutality, and for Black Lives to Matter. Black Lives Matter is deeper than police brutality. This COVID-19 situation has shown how much Black lives don't matter. And that's why we need to keep fighting harder than ever. We are disproportionately dying at a higher rate than any other race in our country. There's too many problems going on for us to pretend everything is fine. We have to work hard, get in the right positions, and stop this madness and stop the pain from going on.
Overall, just makes me feel very, very frustrated because every couple months, like, you just see people that look like you. Well, I see people that look like me, you know, kind of go through the same walks of life as me, being murdered, being, you know, harassed, kidnapped, anything by police officers that are supposed to be, you know, protecting the people of the United States. But I do understand that this system was not made for us. So at the end of the day, if it wasn't made for us, how can we expect it to, you know, give us benefits? We can't reap the benefits of a system that was not made for people that look like us. But yeah, it's just really disheartening to see this all the time. Like, it's really no words for it, to be honest. There's no justification for this. Nothing that you could say to make this right, because it's not right.
Using Christianity which says religion don't mean shit, it's too much ego in the way. That's why ISIS is a crisis. But in reality, this country do the same shit. Take a life and call it righteous. Remember when Bin Laden got killed, supposedly in a hotel lobby after a show? Was noticing these white ladies watching CNN covering the action. They read the headline and then they all started clapping, as if LeBron had just scored a basket at the buzzer. I stood there for a second, watched them high-five each other. For real? I thought this was thou shalt not kill, but police still letting off on niggas in the Ville, claiming that he reached for a gun. They really think we dumb and got a death wish. Now somebody's son is laying breathless. When I was a little boy, my father lived in Texas. Pulled up in Toyota, drove that bitch like it was Lexus. Put my bag in his trunk and headed off for Dallas. Out there for the summer, feeling just like I was Alice. Lost in the wonderland where niggas still suffering just like they was back home, and that's wrong. So now it's fuck the government. They see my niggas struggling and they don't give a fuck at all, and that's wrong, yeah. The type of shit to make you wanna, the type of shit to make you wanna let go, the type of shit to make you wanna, the type of shit to make you. I had a convo with the president, I paid to go and see him. Thinking about the things I said I'd say when I would see him. Feeling nervous sitting in a room full of white folks. Thinking about the black man plight, think I might choke. Nope. Raise my hand to ask the man a question. Does he see the struggle of his brothers in oppression? And if so, if you got all the power and the clout as the president, what's keeping you from helping niggas out? Well, I didn't say nigga, but you catch my drift. He looked me in my eyes and spoke, and he was rather swift. He broke the issue.
See, I haven't done something like this in a while. Cause somewhere along the miles, through all the tribulations and trials, I guess I forgot how to smile. Shit, I guess you could say I'm in denial. I'm trying to carry this weight on my shoulders from a generation that's only getting older to the top of the pile, but ain't nobody told me that it only gets colder when the pressure goes down. But now I understand what it means when I hear freeze. Another man down on his hands and can't breathe? For what? Weed? Really? That's the reasons you need helicopters with hella choppers pointed at you, him, her, and me? Man, I could have my hands behind my head, legs spread, my face pushed up against a ledge, my patience fully thrown off the edge, and I could still be dead before I get to see my degree. You feel me? They trying to aim at the upper body, trying to see if a black man can bleed, but I ain't no sucker, so I could never be on my knees. I think I got a target on my chest, cause they rather use arms before arrest. I'm just trying to make it back to mom's before she texts. I'm just trying to make it back to mom's before she's stressed. Damn, officers, you caused a whole lot of mess. Damn, America, you caused a whole lot of deaths. And Lord knows I ain't talking about Playboy Cardi when I say I see a whole lot of red. I heard that water was thicker than blood, but right now, water not being bled. I don't know about y'all, but I need a father to teach me my wrongs from my rights. I need a mother to nurture me when I feel lonely at night. I need my sisters to guide me to other queens so I can move from a hoe and find me a wife. And I need my brothers beside me like Dr. King, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready to fight. So personally, I cannot afford for anybody to lose their life, because they wouldn't want me losing mine.
Encounters with police that I've had before have always involved another person or other people being there, but you can always see them like exerting their force over you, which I believe law enforcement should not do that because you're here to serve the community. Overall, the criminal justice system and just the way that it works, African American people are just never going to succeed within it, in my eyes personally.
As a black person, or as a human being, as an American, I wake up and I fear for myself, because what if I get stopped by the police one day? And I've been fortunate enough where my encounters with the police haven't gotten violent, but I know that there are many of my brothers and sisters who haven't had that same fortune due to the ire or racism or insecurity of someone who is entrusted to quote unquote uphold order and peace, when really they're upholding the values of America, which is that they've never respected black bodies except out of commodity.
The absolute crazy part is that before George Floyd was murdered, I think it had to be around January, I was having a conversation with my parents, and I was telling them that I knew that I had to get my permit and my license and that stuff. And I was telling my mom, as she was teaching me how to drive, that my biggest fear with driving is being pulled over and killed. Not the fact that I could have a car crash, not the fact that a person could hit me, not the fact that my tire could lose air, my car could lose gas in the middle of nowhere. Never things that any white person would have to fear. Is always the thing that, what if my headlight is out and I'm on my way to have it fixed? I'm trying to do things. I'm speeding by just 5 miles per hour over the limit, and the cop is angry and pulls me over and says that I'm trying to resist and drags me out the car and beats me and just does all the wrong things just because I'm black. And I think that that's really sick, that I'm not as fearful of, God forbid, having a car crash. Even in this, with the protesting and the rioting and the looting, when and if I do go out to participate, I'm not scared to actually sit there and march with my people. I'm not scared of that. And honestly, I told you that story, but in this moment right now, I'm not scared. I'm not scared that the fact that I know that if God forbid they were to do anything to harm me, that they had a reason. And the reason was because I'm fighting for my people. Granted, that still is not a valid reason. But of course, it seems as though one would use that to justify them hurting me, since they use their fear to justify them hurting us when we haven't done anything wrong.
Me personally, I'm not scared of anybody. I don't fear any person that bleeds the same blood as me. I don't fear your position. I don't fear your badge. None of that. And I respect regardless. And I treat people how I would like to be treated. And that's just what it is. But so far as black men and women in general, regarding encounters with police, I just feel as though be yourself. Don't try to act out in a sense when the situation hasn't escalated, or if the other person has not escalated the situation, the other person being the police. And be careful.
I wholeheartedly am scared of the police because they don't know, you know what I'm saying? I do good in school. I have 4.0 GPA. You know, I participate in this and that and that. They don't care about none of that. And it's sad to say, but it's true. They don't care about none of that. They just see, oh, you're black, so therefore you are a threat. That's what they see. And you could try your best to, you know, convince them of something different. But as long as you're black, it's not, they're not going to, you know, have any type of sympathy towards black people.
Like, I have had instances in the workplace where I have seen microaggressions towards me as a black woman from white women who tend to gaslight me and use forms of microaggressions against me and made me feel as if I'm sassy, I'm aggressive, and just because I may be more independent and not beg for their help all the time, like, I feel that type of racism.
I have encountered racism, and I can say that over the years, I've changed a lot, because at first, when racism would show up in my face, I would get emotional, I'd get angry, and I'll argue, I'll physically fight. But now it's more of a mental thing. I smile in the face of racism, and I stick my chest out and let them know who I am.
As a black kid in America, you grow up having to know about race. Like, it's impossible for you to live and just, like, not encounter race. Especially if you are just disadvantaged, like most African American families are. So immediately as you become a part of the world, you also become a part of how race affects the world, how the world perceives you.
Yes, but okay, I'm gonna tell a story. Okay, so this teacher, I had an English teacher, and basically we were reading, The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams, I think that was his name. That don't really matter. We were reading that, and that just a little backstory, that it was a play. So that play was based in like the 1930s, 40s, like when women didn't have rights. Okay, so just think about that. Women didn't have rights. Black women certainly did not have rights back then. Okay, so we get to one part in the play where the N-word pops up, and you know how mind you, this classroom is full of black, white, Mexican, Filipino, different races. And it pops up. And we did like group reading, so popcorn reading, I guess you call it. And the person that was reading it obviously didn't want to say it. It was not a black person. It was a minority, however. They didn't want to say it. And my teacher goes, she says, well, you guys say expletive and expletive, which were not derogatory terms. So she said, I find it hard that you don't want to say the N-word when you could say expletive and expletive. And that really struck me, because expletive and expletive are not racial slurs. So it really opened my eyes up to see that everybody does not act the same way behind closed doors. That's what I'm trying to say. Because just by her saying that, you could predict that she says that, well, she might say the N-word behind closed doors, because she thinks it has the same weight as expletive and expletive, when it's a word that has 400 years of meaning.
That some form of change does happen. I hope there are some forms of legislations that can be enacted that will change the way things are happening. But so far, I just see another black murder being justified and not changed. No one's doing anything. It's like we have to burn down the whole city in order for there to be something.
One thing that I'm very hopeful for, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I just haven't seen it, is I'm hopeful that the pro-life community, the Latino community, that the Jewish community, that the immigrant community, that people who have also been hurt would step up and would help fight for us. I'm hopeful that white people will step up and help us fight. But I did mention the pro-life. I mentioned them because, please comment down or message me, but I haven't seen anybody say anything. And the reason that bothers me is because pro-life should honestly mean that all lives are worth living, that no life should be killed. And it doesn't matter if a fetus is just a fetus. George Floyd was living. He was a living man. He was on this earth. And he was murdered, which I'm pretty sure goes against what pro-life means. Pro-life should be pro babies' lives, pro fetuses' lives, pro black lives, pro everyone's life. But I haven't heard a single thing. So I'm really hoping that they would come out to say something. I'm hoping that my Latino community will come out and say something, because as an Afro-Latina, I'm here to tell you all that I'm very disappointed and I'm honestly disgusted. We too are people of color. We too have dark skin, have brown skin. Half of y'all say the N-word but don't classify as black, but that isn't this topic. But I'm saying, if you can say the N-word, you should be able to pick up a poster board and write something on it and get to protesting right along with us. This goes out to all people with brown skin. The cops won't ask you what your nationality is for those who weren't born here. They won't ask you what your ethnicity is either. They don't care if you're Cuban, if you're African, if you're Puerto Rican, or black. Anybody, so long as you have brown skin, you are included in this. It doesn't matter. I wanted to add in this clip, this tweet here, and I'm pretty sure that you've all seen it. But this is something that I'm hoping will put an end to it. Everyone talks about voting. Granted, most of us will be able to vote by the time the presidential election comes. And I just need y'all to read this. I really need y'all to take in this. I need y'all to understand that I'm not here to tell you what Biden is saying is right, what Sanders says is right. I'm just here to say that what Trump posted what Trump tweeted was wrong on so many levels. And I'm pretty sure that we all know that. But for those who don't, he says when the looting starts, the shooting starts. And my issue is that we're looting because cops were shooting. We're looting because cops were kneeling and kneeling on our necks. We're looting because of what has been happening. And I'm saying this to say that I'm really hopeful that this won't end. That Trump, and I'm not even going to get into what he's saying, but I'm really hopeful that that doesn't happen. I've seen some clips on Twitter. I've seen it all. But I'm really hoping that many cops won't do that. That many governors won't make their cops do it. Or whoever is in charge won't have their cops shooting us. Because the whole reason we're fighting is because they're shooting us.
Topic is, are we next?
I can't do another 20 years of systematic racism. I will not allow my children to live in a world with systematic racism. I'm going to work as hard as I can, and I urge all of you to work as hard as you can to end this. We can do it.
Keep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
All's my life I has to fight, nigga. All's my life hard times like, yeah. Bad trips like, yeah. Nazareth, I'm fucked up, homie, you fucked up. But if God got us, then we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Huh? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the pay cut. Bahamas, I be looking at you from the face down. One Mac 11, even boom with the bass down. Scheming, now let me tell you about my life. Painkillers only put me in the twilight. With pretty pussy and Benjamin is the highlight. Now tell my mama I love her, but this what I like, Lord knows. 20 of them in my Chevy, tell them all to come and get me. Reaping everything I sow, so my karma come in heaven. No preliminary hearings on my record. I'm a motherfucking gangster in silence for the record. Tell the world I know it's too late. Boys and girls, I think I've gone crazy. Trying to side my face this all day. Won't you please believe when I say, when you know we've been hurt, been down before. Nigga, when our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? Nigga, and we hate po-po, wanna kill us dead in the street for sure. Nigga, I'm at the preacher's door. My knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright.